I want their leader brought here. I want him brought to me. I want the revolution crushed.
You alright? Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Mamluks. My name is Sim. Our
Assalamu alaikum.
Ahmar here. Ahmar.
Ahmar, yes.
Not Himar.
Not Himar, yeah, Ahmar.
Ahmar.
Yeah. Good catch.
Thob Ahmar.
What a coincidence.
You know the magicians wear the red thobes.
I don't know.
Did you know that?
This is burgundy.
I don't know. I heard there's conflicting reports on Muslim men wearing red. Is there any truth to that? Yeah, Sheikh.
Yes, there's, but this is now red, and I have other colors on it too.
That looks red to me, Sheikh.
Yeah.
Is it because of we're close to Halloween? You want to wear the
Halloween or Haramoween, huh?
The wizard, the witch's garments?
No, thank you though. I appreciate it.
On to my right hand side is the one and only Sheikh Omar.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Welcome to the show, everyone. We have a wonderful show for you guys. Please help us out on patreon.com/the Mamluks, as well as throwing a comment in the comment section below, and like the show if you can. Min fadlik.
How come we didn't mention anything about him? He's dressed in all black. It's not even 10th of Muharram for him.
Well, mashallah, black is good. What's wrong with black? I usually wear black, but around this season, everyone's trying to dress spooky, so I try to dress normal. I don't want to be a conformist,
Yeah, I get it.
So I dress like them.
Them. They, them.
No, not they, them, Sheikh. What's wrong with you? Sheikh, did you see the fight?
I didn't see it yet.
Magomed, Ankalaev?
I don't even know what happened. I just cut all communications off.
You don't even know what happened?
I don't even know what happened.
Well, the episode title tells you what happened.
I didn't read it yet. I'm not even looking.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Go ahead. No, you can go ahead.
Can I tell you?
It's too late. Yeah.
Yeah, he lost.
Okay, pardon my ignorance.
He got knocked out.
Who was he
first
fighting?
round? Pereira, bro.
He fought Pereira? I haven't been I haven't been watching UFC stuff for like 2 months, bro. A month and a half.
Are you going the haram route too?
No, I've just been too consumed with stuff, man. I completely forgot about it.
Consumed with what?
Other stuff.
Ignorance?
Yeah. No, I didn't see he got knocked out.
Yeah, he got knocked out first round. Yeah, it was bad.
Who did Ankalaev fight before? It was not Ankalaev, right?
Yeah, Ankalaev.
Who did Ankalaev fight before this?
Pereira. He won the championship.
He won. Oh, the rematch. This is the rematch.
Yeah.
Okay. Dang. Remember Islam Makhachev? He said, put him Ankalaev, and Ankalaev beat him, and now the rematch. Man.
Well, reports are saying that Ankalaev had some sickness. I think he was injured too. So
do you think it's gonna be worth a trilogy based on what you saw in the fight?
I don't think he's gonna be given a. When you get knocked out the first round, they're not inclined to give you.
Round.
Yeah,
Dang.
They're not gonna give you a third one. I think he's gonna have to fight someone to get back there.
Okay, so you got a belt back. Pereira got the belt back.
Pereira got the belt back.
I wonder who's next in line now.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, man. Thank you for telling me that. Good spoiler alert.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, so I've meant to watch it. I didn't get a chance to.
A week. Sure.
Yeah.
A week.
Yeah.
I messaged you on Saturday. I said, "Hey, you want to watch the fight?"
Yeah.
You ignored it.
Like
you typically
couldn't come.
You just say, "I don't need these people in my life."
That's not true, bro. That's not true. You're the only people I have in my life, bro.
I'm so kind to you, and I treat you with so much respect.
You do. I don't reciprocate.
I messaged you, inviting you over, asking you if I could bring you food. Boy, what do you do? Another crab. Another.
No. You're a good guy. I'm not really that nice, so I don't reciprocate very well with those things, So I'm just always in my own la la land. And plus, hey, sometimes I'm just an arrogant person. I don't want to be,
I feel like we need a therapist.
We both suffer.
Going
to therapy with you would be the worst because the first 45 minutes, if it was an hour session, you'd just be trolling the whole time. Nobody would know what the heck to do with you.
Sheikh Umar could be our therapist. Sheikh.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
You do therapy, right? Can you help us with your faith-based counseling?
No, you cannot be helped. You cannot be helped at all. Not just by
So
me,
you're
by
rejecting.
anyone.
What if he wants it for both of us?
No.
No, he's like no.
It's not gonna. It's not gonna work.
We'll find somebody else.
There are some things that therapy cannot fix. You guys
Like
are one
with
of
Jordan
them.
Peterson.
Well,
Peterson is sick. Did you guys hear his daughter said that he's going through some mysterious
He's going
ailments.
through some hell right now.
Going through some hell.
I wonder why.
Unfortunately, he's being given hell right now.
It's strange because Peterson was this person who brought a lot of people back away from atheism. I don't know if you guys remember
from the woke era and stuff too.
No, even before the woke era, there was this Islamophobic movement with a lot of these neo-atheists like Sam Harris.
Yep.
And them Godsod as well. They were all like pumping everyone with this godless in this godless direction, and he came along and he got people to start investigating Christian scriptures and stuff like that. And he wouldn't say he's Christian, but he had like books like Maps of Meaning and had all these different things that can't remember, but they were like the Tafsir of Bible. Is that okay? Is
Hermeneutics,
that,
yeah.
I didn't say something haram, did I?
No.
Yeah.
Hermeneutics.
Yeah, the old Hermes. The Hermes bag, Chef. No. So anyway, he's difficult because he helped a lot of people too, and he got them away from this.
Yeah.
Now, it just makes you feel bad for that person because he really did say something stupid after October 7th. That give him hell.
Yeah.
But
even before that, in all fairness, before, he with the whole pronouns thing, and he didn't want to, succumb to, the Canadian government and everything about forced speech and all that kind of. I mean, he played a role, but he wasn't really uncovered. Then he was just against the feminist movement, the toxic masculinity claimers, the pronoun army.
I bought his book for someone I thought it would help, straighten out their life and try to figure out, try to get them out of their depression. Try and get them.
And he's a therapist, so he kind of helps with that stuff, of course.
So I never found him as a philosopher of sorts, but he's more of like a motivational speaker.
Yeah,
tries to. I think he brought masculinity back, and when it was uncool to talk about it, and he had this kind of quirky personality that kind of made it fun to listen to, and he knew how to dunk on feminists pretty well. So a lot of people enjoyed those lectures. I know I did, but then
he got kind of involved with Daily Wire.
That's when everything went downhill.
Yeah,
he just fell in love with himself, and I think he's a victim to the same inability that he goes against. He talks about people's inability to self-reflect, look at themselves in the mirror, criticize themselves, and really iron out the wrinkles, right? Mm-hmm. And I think he kind of fell into his own. He just started buying his own BS, and that's when the problem happens. It's not just with him, but many, even Muslim YouTubers and stuff like that. You just see their downhill trajectory. I'm not going to mention names, but everyone knows who we're talking about. It's just like you're on top of the world, and all of a sudden you just believe all the BS about yourself. And I think that one of the things when you read about like people like Ghazali, when he would go to the washrooms, I think, of the mosque, and he would clean them up, right?
When the phase where he felt like he was becoming something.
Yeah, he felt like felt a little bit of pride in his heart.
Yeah.
So he would go to the washroom and clean the washrooms.
Yeah,
that's so beautiful because it just. I think as a man, like sometimes when you're like leading a family, right, you kind of feel like, this is women's work. I shouldn't be doing this, but sometimes when you get on your hands and knees and do stuff that you expect your family to be doing or your kids to be doing, and it humbles you because you're like, sometimes you just have people taking care of you, and you kind of have this respect and as the head of the household, and I think everyone kind of gets that feeling when they do some of these type of embarrassing type of work. And I really think it should be something that people figure out or try to incorporate in some aspect of their day. Like how, I don't know if you should just reserve it just for this one time where you feel like, oh, you know, because pride is something that's always fighting against you, you know?
Yeah.
Pride is something that's constantly attacking you, especially if you're like any level of success you've achieved.
I thought Pride was only in June.
Right on cue.
Oh, it's not?
That's a different type of pride.
Oh.
Okay, but those pride, they need a whole different type of execution of trials and tribulations. But that's why I think it's really important, if you're not able to go out of your way and do something, that's why, I mean, you have to keep your eyes open. Allah tests us on all levels, and that's the wisdom of Allah testing us, right?
Yeah.
And obviously you can self-humiliate by, and humble yourself, I should say, by going and cleaning bathrooms, or doing, like you said, getting on your hands and knees and cleaning up something that someone else would be doing. That's the wisdom, I think, of serving people, man. I think no matter how elevated you are in the sight of people, but if you serve them, you know, those are really cool. You probably saw this when you were in Syria too. When I was in Mauritania, I just thought it was so cool how you'd go to somebody's house, whether it was a scholar or not, and they used to carry. I want to incorporate this in my house too, because it's actually a really cool practice. They carry like a special type of like a lota, right? When you go to somebody's house to eat, and they have this huge like metal. It actually looks kind of cool, like this metal thing with the soap bar on the top, and then it's like just a big screen, and you go around, you wash everybody's hands for them before they eat. And the head of the household does that for his guests, right? It's not like everybody goes to the bathroom and wash their hands.
Yeah.
He barely goes to everybody, they take it, and he goes in a circle, everybody's sitting on the ground.
Really?
And he washes everybody's hands. Yeah. You wash everybody's hands. When they're done eating, you wash everybody's hands too.
So he's pouring the water?
He's pouring the water, and he's holding it like this. There's a soap bar, so imagine I have a bucket, and I have a lorta, right? Like it's like metal. And you take the soap bar, and I start washing your hands before eating, and I go in a circle. There's 20 people, I do all 20 people.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
And where's all the water spilling
It goes inside of the bucket. Oh. Yeah, so everything's right there.
Dang.
And
well,
then
that's one way to keep people out of your washroom too, right?
One way to keep people out of your washroom.
People, you know, sometimes they get a little...
But that little extra detail...
Have you ever been to some of these mosques during like...
is hard, bro.
No.
You're worse than me now, bro.
So,
just let me finish my point, and then you can talk about the rush in the bathroom. This guy is worse than me. So the thing is that's a small detail if somebody thinks about it. But if you're really, really thinking, that small detail, not only are you pampering the hell out of your guest, right? But the initiative to do that and do it effortlessly and not think about it means that, okay, I'm in a good place. While you're doing it, if you think that there's something wrong, you shouldn't be doing this for somebody, then you know that you got to check yourself, you know, because you should be doing that for your guests anyway. But if you feel like you're too big for it, then you know that so something so small like that can help you, can be a litmus test for you. But you're right. I think all in all, but Allah, that's the wisdom of Allah testing us, right, to put us through trials and tribulations. So we purify ourselves through any type of arrogance that we have. And that's when you know you failed the test, is when you say, why would Allah do this to me? Allah, na'udhu billah, why would you do this to me? When I've done all this, you're testing me like this. That's how you know you failed the test. Yeah. You need time to rectify as long as you're breathing. But yes.
Remember when we were young, we had a bunch of Tablighi brothers over in my basement. Mm-hmm. They clogged their toilet. You remember that?
In Lombard?
Yeah.
I think so.
I yelled, "God damn teachers!" After I
think he was there too.
I don't remember. I don't know any of.
You don't remember that?
Oh, no, I don't know anything. This is the first time I'm hearing this. But it's not surprising.
Yes.
Oh man, that little old washroom, bro. That washroom got destroyed after that one dinner, bro.
What are we talking about? This is so crazy.
We're talking about the good old days. You have to share the good old days with the shabab.
Yeah,
they're not. They love listening to this stuff.
Yeah.
They have to know. Anyway, we love the TJs.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it's not. We just they just happen to be these brothers. Yeah. They eat a lot, mashallah. But it wasn't like every TJ. We just making that distinction. We love everyone, Sheikh.
Yeah. I didn't say anything.
No. This brother at after Jobai comes up to me, he's like, "So you guys are okay with the Deobandis now?" right? I'm like, when were we bad? I think Sheikh once said something about someone, but I think
everybody talks about everybody. We don't mean how bad, bro. Everyone's our brothers, right? Right, Haqqani loves TJ's.
We just don't like stupid people.
Yeah.
There's stupid people, Sheikh, in everyone, whether you're the
I'm
Sufis,
one of them. I make fun of myself all the time.
Among the Salafis, among the Sufis, what else are there? The Khutubis, right? I'm just remembering back into my Salafi days. They had a term for every single faction.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's stupid people within every group, and we're just anti-stupid people. Yeah. So sometimes that stupid person happens to be a Sufi. It doesn't mean we hate Sufis. Just that one stupid person. Yeah. Right? You sign off on that?
Yeah.
Is that our creed? Is that our motto?
Look, man,
we're
Muslims come in all shapes and flavors.
Anti-dumb people.
Yeah.
Just don't be dumb.
Yeah. But that being said,
so I just had to make that clarification because there was genuine interaction happened. Like, so you guys are okay with the Deobandis now, huh? When were we bad? Like, some of my best friends.
People get triggered really. That one episode that we had, people got triggered really hard. But that was whatever. It's worth it, man. It's growing pains. It's supposed to happen.
Yeah. Well, wallahu alam, as they say in your language, Sheikh.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Shabab in Gaza have made a deal. Struck a deal with Trump and Netanyahu. Agreed to a ceasefire proposal that, or at least a framework of a ceasefire proposal, which will begin with a hostage exchange. Any thoughts on that, Sheikh Omar?
Do you have anything to say about this?
How much time do we have?
You can go as long as you want, bro.
I think first and foremost, I don't even know where to begin, but I think in all seriousness, a reasonable thing now to say would be first and foremost that alhamdulillah, inshallah, the killing will stop for now. Because the reason we have to say inshallah is because even while this was announcing, they were being bombed. And this is not accidental, this is deliberate. Everyone knows it. Anyone who's been following this for more than 2 years, know that this is how they operate. So I think we have to take into account everything that they have gone through for the past 2 years, the indiscriminate bombing, the complete demolition of, entire cities, neighborhoods, generational, families, entire generations been wiped out. Innocent men, women, and children deliberately targeted, hospitals bombed, babies murdered, and the forced famine that they have endured for the past 2 years, all alone, all by themselves, while the world had nothing to offer except words, nothing more than that. And as we talked about in the previous episodes, the incompetent, treacherous people who are in the leadership positions of the Muslim nations, because I don't even think we can call them leaders, because they're not. Any leader would represent the interest of their people, which they don't. And the only thing they had offered so far was condemnation and strong condemnation, and that's about it. So finally, now it seems that a temporary end is in sight to this suffering, because what this agreement provided, if we looked at it from the we talked about it briefly last week, but it had just come out. But if you look at it further, and you listen to a lot of the historians and scholars and political commentators who have been following this for the past 60, 70 years, or 40 years, however long they've actively been covering this, they will tell you that this 20-point piece was the worst thing that they had ever seen out of all the proposals that came out. And the reason for that is what we had talked about previously, was it lacked any details about anything. is just 20 things that they came up with without any consultation from the other side, meaning the Palestinians. And even a lot of the Muslim nations who agreed to that initially, when they had a little meeting at the on the sidelines of the United Nations, meeting that they had, a lot of them went back and said that the final draft that was presented is not the one that was shown to us, or not the one that we agreed to. Okay, but as we talked about in the last podcast, that it lacked a lot of details as to how things were going to go. And if you just look at it, if you just read those 20 points, you will be forced to come to the conclusion that all of the leverage is with the Zionist state. They're the ones who are calling the shots. They're the ones, even the premise of the entire argument was that the people of Palestine don't exist. It's a terror state that needs to be contained, and these are the steps we are graciously taking to contain them. There was no mention of the blockade, the forced blockade that was there even before October 7th, 2 years ago. There was no mention of starvation. There was no mention of forced killing. And the biggest of them all, there's no mention of the root cause of all of this, which is the damn occupation.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
No, that's fine.
But
you're 100% right.
But that's what it is. And the reason I'm saying that this seems that we're happy that the killing has stopped, but everyone should understand that even what they're saying now, that they agreed now, not to the entire 20 point, because the 20 points are really retarded. I'm sorry, because we're not using that word anymore. It's really stupid. Okay, and it doesn't make any sense because there's no mechanism to implement any of that, and all the leverage goes to the Zionist state because they're the ones who decide when they think that they have disarmed. For example, like they will tell you, okay, we think that they've disarmed now, so now we're going to pull back a little bit more. They're the ones who are going to decide if they're complying with any of the deal or not, which is a bunch of nonsense. Like, forget about this conflict, any conflict you look at, if there are two parties that are in conflict, there needs to be a third party that makes the decision whether they're abiding by it or not. Not just one side is going to decide if the other side is abiding by it or not, which is, again, really dumb. That's just one thing. But at the end of this, I go back to what I said. Look, I think even what they said now, the announcement that they made, even the statement Qatar made, that all the mechanism is in place to enforce the first phase of this plan, meaning stop the killing, returns of the hostages, and allow the aid to come in. Which all three of them are critical, important points. But in terms of hostages, my opinion is, and not just my opinion, I agree with this opinion. Many people say that the hostages, dead and alive, have been used as a pawn by the Zionist state. You think they don't know where the hostages have been for 2 years? when they've been basically, it's a mass concentration camp that they've been operating for several years. They know everything. They know where all the tunnels at because they allowed the tunnels to be built. They funded the tunnels to be built. All this is nonsense. Anyone with half a brain knows that this is all nonsense. Oh, they want the hostages back. You know where the hostages are. Yeah. Okay, you know how many of them are alive. You know how many of them are dead. Okay, fine, get the hostages back. There's a hostage exchange, end of the killing, end of the bombing, and then exchange, allow the food to come in and all that. Okay, that's part one. But the elephant in the room remains. What about the occupation?
That's
what this is just a band-aid that we're putting on the wound now to stop the bleeding. The cancerous element is still there.
Yep, it is. And
it's going to re-emerge whether 5 days from now, 5 months from now, or 5 years from now.
But they've shifted the narrative. They're saying it's not occupation.
Who said that?
When Abby Martin was debating with that dude on Piers Morgan just the other day, I saw this 2 months in a row. Look, it's not an occupation. It's not a real occupation.
Who's saying that?
That dude from the intelligence, what's his name? Michael or whatever. He was just last episode. He's like, it's not an occupation. You're wrong. It's not an occupation.
Well,
they're saying with both-faced lies.
Well, for Israelis,
that's what they're saying. They're trying to tell the world that it's not occupation. People are kind of like,
Well, they've been saying that forever.
that's what I'm saying. But when you keep on repeating that it's not an occupation, when you say, because the root cause is the occupation,
Yeah.
all of this is because of an occupation.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. But that's the last thing everyone's talking about. People throw that word in here and there.
Yeah.
But now the narrative that they're pushing is, no, it's not an occupation. They just repeat it so much that some people start believing that it's not actually an occupation.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what it is. Like, it is an occupation, but they know that very well. So they just keep saying, no, it's not an occupation. No, you can say whatever you want. It's not an occupation. It's not an occupation. That's what they just keep saying.
Oh, they can say it all they want.
Of
They've
course,
been saying
they can say
it
it all they want.
before too.
Yeah.
But but I think things are different now. This time around, because even if you look at the statement of the resistance, what they've put out, they're emphasizing on one thing, which is that the Zionist state is forced to abide by this agreement, which historically they're very good at breaking every agreement. Not just since 1948, but thousands of years, they're very good at,
That's they're known for.
Yeah. breaking agreements. So even if you look at, the statement that the resistance has put out, they particularly, they're not dumb. They're playing to an audience of one, which in this case is Trump. They single him out and praise him for the leadership that he has taken in this, and for the work that he's done in this, and for the interest he's taken in this, and they ask him specifically to ensure that they abide by this. Okay? Whether, is that the strategy or the approach that needs to be taken or not?
Pure comedy.
It is, right? But the options are limited now, right? And they know, look, at the end of the day, this occupation, yes, it is by the Zionist state, but it's fully funded and backed by who?
United States.
Okay? So if they want, if the US wants to put pressure on their satellite state, they can easily do so, like they did last week. Can you pull up that picture? Because if we remember last week when I don't even want to mention his name. What do you call him?
Satan Yahoo?
Yes, he was visiting the White House for the 4th time since January. His dad forced him to do something which he would have never done.
I ask, who's his dad? I ask.
Trump. Okay, and people said, oh, this is one of the rare moments, because he was forced to call Qatar and issue an apology for bombing them. Okay, and if you look at this picture, this was released. Okay, look at the picture.
Yeah.
Look at the setup, the dynamic at play here. Trump is literally holding the phone in his lap, and he's got the receiver. He's speaking to them, and he's reading from the script that was given to him. Read this and apologize to them for what you've done.
And look at his face. Look at Donald Trump's face.
Okay,
he looks like he wants to end his own life, man.
The U.S. has always presented itself as a neutral, party in this conflict, but the world knows that, how neutral they are. So I think, this time things may be different. And the other reason is because the world opinion has changed in this. Before, it was just people just use, it's people in the Middle East fighting again. Those guys are always fighting now. But now it's not the same. The world has woken up. The world has seen the reality of the occupation. Yeah. The world has seen the brutality of the occupation. The world has seen, the suffering that they've been undergoing for the past, 75, 77 years. The world realizes that this is an occupation. They can say all they want that this is not an occupation, but it is an occupation.
Here's what got released. Oops, sorry. 1 second. Just a second.
But
all right, here we go. So this is Axl Rose of the band Guns N' Roses. It's a very huge band in the United States. For those who don't know, it's very American. So he's holding up a flag of Palestine at a concert in Bogota, Colombia. Looks like he performed a show with the Palestinian flag around his shoulders. That's huge. People don't
tell people why it's huge. What do you mean by it's huge? Because someone could look
Guns
at
N' Roses, for those who don't know, is like an iconic band. It goes beyond any other band, those other hip hop groups and
ever
stuff.
Since the 80s, yeah.
Those guys, no, there's other people who took a stand. It's like Taylor Swift taking a stand. Okay, Guns N' Roses has the most played album and songs on YouTube. They're that huge.
Are they bigger than P. Diddy?
Yes, they're much bigger than P. Diddy. They're as American as it can be.
Yeah.
And if they're taking a stand, it shows how badly Israel has lost a PR war.
PR war, that's the key thing, yes.
So we're not talking about, we always know Allah, as long as you have Allah on your side, we all agree to.
Yeah.
But we're talking about the PR stuff, right? We're talking about public relations. We're talking about winning hearts and minds and understanding where people are at least in terms of their mindset in the United States, which at least is as far as this conflict is concerned, is the largest backer of the Israelis. Yes, look, I know sometimes people say, oh, you guys make yourself like the center of the world. Well, in this situation specifically, and especially because at least on the world stage, the United States does a lot of the bullying. So, pardon me, we're not taking pride in us being the center of attention. It's just that's just the way things are.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's just who's funding this war.
Yeah, but so Guns N' Roses taking a stand is huge. I mean, I can't even describe how huge that is.
Just to put that in perspective, the tour that Satan Yahoo was taking on the Nelk Boys and to do some type of damage repair and disaster repairing.
Yeah,
Guns N' Roses destroyed all of that just by holding up that flag in one concert. That's what Sim is trying to say, right? And I think that's it shows you where the leaders of the free world, quote unquote free world, who are supporting Israel, more than any other world power would ever do for any parasite country. Just that one thing is telling you that the war that Israel has always been fighting has been the PR war. They thrive off the PR war by being the victims on the world stage in the political arena. And Guns N' Roses, basically by doing that, has undone everything for them. Because their war is a PR war. We have to understand that Israel's war is a PR war. And if they lose that, they've lost just off of that 60% of the war.
They're spending they're giving influencers $7,000 per posts that they do. People, I don't know if it qualifies for every single influencer, but I think if you have if you have like a large enough platform, they will give you $7,000.
And that can mean if you make one long video and you break them up and you publish them, you're going to get $7,000 for each of those.
It's 7 to 14,000.
Yeah.
7 is the bare minimum. Yeah. Okay, but if you look at it in a roundabout way, it's actually America that's giving you that money.
It is.
Okay, we don't have any money to fund education. In our public schools, we see teachers having to buy supplies. Every other week, every other month, I get an email from my kid's school who goes to public school. Can you buy Kleenex for us? Can you send in some pencils? Why the hell am I going to do that? I'm going to do that. Where's the money?
Public school.
Yeah, public school, right?
The government's supposed to pay for that.
The government is, they don't have the funds for that. We have a housing issue.
In one of the wealthiest counties in the world.
We have a housing issue. Okay, we have a healthcare problem. We got so many things we got no money for. But then when you look at this, you got all the money in the world to fund a genocide that was happening.
Yeah.
Okay, and now all this aid that is given to them eventually comes back to you now for the post that you're gonna make to support that. So in a way, you're funding it anyway.
So I'll come back to the point as far as the recent ceasefire announced. Trump has announced. This is at 7:05 p.m. Okay, that I got this alert. Trump has announced the Gaza ceasefire on Platform X, stating the terms of agreement, as well as emphasizing withdrawal of Israeli troops and release of Israeli hostages as a part of the first phase. Again, that's 7:05. All right, At 7:08, Israeli air raids hit Gaza amid ceasefire announcement. Despite Trump announcing a Gaza ceasefire, Israeli warplanes carried out air raids on Gaza City. There's other cities, even Khan Yunis, parts of Khan Yunis, that have been attacked and that are continuing to be attacked. So, what is this, and what does this? How can Donald Trump and America show their face that even during the ceasefire agreement taking place, that you're attacking? What type of face are they supposed to show?
Look, I think we should look at this. This is not America trying to bring peace to the region.
Mm-mm.
This is Trump, in his personal capacity, trying to do whatever he can. Someone give him the peace prize.
He wants a Nobel Peace Prize.
That's what this is all about. There's no strategy behind this. There's no long-term vision behind this. That's based on the 20-point plan that was released. There's no mention of any of the key things. What about the people? Are they the people who've been killing the men, women, and children? Are they going to be held for war crimes? What about the refugees? Where's the end to the occupation? None of that is mentioned. All he wants to do is he wants to be the hero at the end of the day, so people can tell. This will be, by the way, his 8th war that he stopped, because at the UN he said he stopped 7 wars so far. This will be the 8th one that he stopped. So someone just give him the peace prize for now. So this is not in America's interest in terms of there's no logic behind it, there's no reasoning behind it, and there's no long-term vision behind it. This is just a short-term solution. Hopefully, he's probably hoping it's gonna last 3 years until his term comes to an end, and then the next person can pick it up from there. Because that's all this is. This is nothing more than that. And there's, as they had mentioned in the previous 20 point that we looked at, if they agree to all these conditions, they need to demilitarize, give up everything, all of this. If they've done everything, then they would consider a viable way to statehood. So we're still in the process of thinking, should they have a state or not? There's no guarantee. But the only guarantee is we might think about it. That's the guarantee.
That's all it is.
So that's all it is. But now, with the announcement of this, they've been meeting in Sharm el-Sheikh. Now the dogs are coming out from the shadows, because I just read Sisi wants him to come to Egypt to sign this, because he's done a lot to help the Palestinians by closing the border and letting them starve to death. I mean, there's another video. I mean, there's so much I want to tell you and share with you.
Go for it, man.
He basically, a couple of weeks ago, he basically told the Egyptians, look, my responsibility is to deal with the Egyptian people. It's to work for you. And work with you and for you. I don't have any concern about what's happening next. I want to help them, but I can't, because it takes 2 of us to open the border. If they don't want to open the border, if they don't want to let they in, I cannot do anything. That's what he said. Okay, why the hell do you want to take credit now then? This doesn't concern you.
The one with the strongest military in the Middle East, supposedly.
Well, we saw what the military did in Tahrir Square and in the what's that?
The Arab Spring era, in 2012, 2013.
Al-Adawiya Square, right? We saw what the army has done. That's what the army is for.
For suppressing the people.
So it's to suppress the people.
Yeah.
So. Not for Egypt, for most of the Muslim world. That's what they're there for.
Yeah. So do you think we can move on to Iran? Because I have some questions.
No, we cannot.
Okay.
Because not only does he have an invitation from Egypt, now the Zionist state wants him to come and address the Knesset there as well.
Oh, Trump is going to be. Yeah. This Sunday or something. This weekend. One more thing. He was doing some press conference, just before they announced it. Rubio handed him a note. I don't know if you saw that or not. In the middle of the conference, he handed him a note. Now there's a picture of what was on the note. The note said basically they made he's got people handling his account, even though most of the time it's him posting crazy stuff on there. But anything that makes some sort of sense in there, his handlers probably write that. So the note basically said that they're very close to announcing it, and they want him
to they wanted his approval to make the post to announce this, the ceasefire. So they want to make sure. Look, they know how to deal with him. They, he's always looking for attention. They want to give him that attention. They want to make sure that he feels that he was responsible for doing this. So they want him to make the announcement. Just as during the India and Pakistan conflict that happened, America, it was Trump who made the announcement that there has been a ceasefire, for which Modi is still paying the price by his people, because they keep asking him, how come they announced our ceasefire? Why didn't you announce it?
Good.
Good.
So, just going back to what Sheikh was talking about, 21.7 billion in U.S. military aid has fueled Israel's war on Gaza. A new report from Responsible Statecraft says American support has been essential to what many experts are calling a genocide. Sister Yvonne Ridley has been released from captivity from the
Flotilla.
From the flotilla. She was part of that flotilla. I didn't even know she was there.
Yeah.
But
for some time, some people did not know where she was.
yeah. She's a former guest of ours. A very sweet, amazing woman. We're really delighted and grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that she's been released safely back to her farm with peacocks. Remember the peacocks here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wanted to eat them or something.
Yeah. I asked her if they were halal. She was so appalled.
I wonder why.
It's illegal to kill those in India. It's the bird.
But can you guys pass a fatwa whether we can eat them?
You can eat them. It's a bird. But
It's a bird, yeah.
So check this out.
Okay, hang on. Let's just hear her.
Yeah.
Petition who protested for the freedom of. Salam alaikum, everyone. This is Yvonne Ridley. Free. I just want to thank all of you, every single one of you, who campaigned, who prayed, who petitioned, who protested for the freedom of myself and my flotilla crew members. It's wonderful just to be away from that horrible prison. I'm with my husband in Istanbul, and I can't wait to get home to my wee little dog and cats and boys. And so just a quick message to everyone who prayed for me. I just have a solid knot in my heart for the little girl from Gaza who was waiting on the beach every day, saying that she was looking out for our sails, looking out for us, and all she wanted was a bar of chocolate, and we didn't deliver, and I'm so sad for her and all the children in Gaza. That was the reason for our mission. We just wanted to open a corridor on the Mediterranean Sea, a humanitarian corridor, so that we could get our aid into Gaza. And I'm sorry we failed you. But you know what? I think it was Nelson Mandela that said, look at your failures and how you pick yourself up afterwards. So guess what? We are already talking about sailing again. And come hell or high water, we are going to sail into Gaza. We're more determined than ever, in spite of the horrible treatment by the Israelis. And on another note, many of you who know me know that I spent 11 days in prison under the Taliban regime in 2001. Well, I'll tell you something now, and this is straight from the heart. I would rather spend 2 months in a Taliban prison than 2 days with the Israelis. The Israelis were savage, they were brutal, they were misogynistic. The women prison officers were part of the patriarchy, and they made our lives utter hell. And so that's something to think about, that I would rather do 2 months in Afghanistan than one more day in Israel. Anyway, on that message, peace and love to everybody, and free, free Palestine.
All right, there you have it. She would rather have 2 months in Afghanistan rather than 2 days. 2 days with the Israelis. That's how bad the conditions are.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw Greta's
They
video.
tortured her too, right?
Yeah, they tortured that girl, man. SubhanAllah. Just amazing, because you could literally see the black eye on her. You could see like the bruising around her eye.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't talk about herself. She wouldn't talk about what she went through. And she said, this story is not about me. It's about the people of Gaza.
And that's what all of them were saying. That they were saying, if this was us, if the guy from Ireland,
Yeah.
I forgot who he was, a politician from Ireland, and he was saying, forget his name. He said, this is the way they treated us. He's like, imagine how they treat the Palestinians,
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that, like even like Desmond Tutu, who was the evangelical bishop who went on a peace mission to, Palestine / Israel. He died in 2021, and he talked about this in his trip where he went years ago.
Yeah.
And he said that what I saw in my time in Palestine was far worse than anything that I've ever seen in apartheid South Africa, right? So you have to imagine, if this is how they're treating Westerners, imagine how they treat the Palestinians, right? And the other Muslims. It's really crazy. And this, the listeners know, especially if you're Muslim, we've been hearing about this, and we knew about these issues since the 80s and the 90s, how bad the treatment was of the Palestinians because of the advent of social media and recording devices. People are able to see what's happening live, which makes it a lot worse because the Israelis do it openly. They have Telegram groups where they were bragging in the beginning of the war and they were killing people and celebrating. This is what makes them worse than the Nazis and Hitler, right? Because at least then we just read about the Nazis and Hitler in books and maybe got a grainy picture here and there, right? But what we saw here live in the past 2 years, there's no way you can come back from that, and that's forever on the internet. There's no way you can get rid of. You can't even scrape, a quarter of those, right? It's always going to be there, and even that they still continue with impunity, even though the reputation is tarnished because of their arrogance and they feel untouchable, and they've been in this bubble for so long of being untouchable. They just keep doing whatever they're doing, and they've completely lost the grasp of reality. And I think what we are experiencing now, it's the history books are going to be a different level of history. I think in the next, 50 to 100 years, the history books of this time are going to be like none other. I really believe that. So, can you move on to Iran, please, or do you still have some more? More? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. He's trying to go through. Sorry, did we give you a break? Go ahead.
No, I think. I think what she said there, people can relate to.
Yeah.
This, I don't think this has happened in, as long as the occupation has gone on, that the flotilla is coming from Europe, this exposure that you
Spain
talked
and
about
Italy.
now.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that's irreversible, what she talked about, the child waiting for the candy bar. I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly can. I'm sure a lot of you can as well. But it's something to think about and understand what the people have been going through and the suffering that they have suffered.
Yeah.
And I think we're at a point now where a lot of this is irreversible. I don't think there was ever a time where some of the European countries, France and UK, they recognized a state of Palestine. What are they going to do now? Go back and say, no, actually, we were just joking. We don't recognize it now.
It's too late. Yeah.
It's a step in in the right direction. It's slow. It's much slower than what anyone would want. But I'm secretly hoping that whatever this agreement that they've made, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the ability to do anything. Inna Allah ala kulli shayin qadir. That hopefully this agreement or this treaty, whatever they made, would be similar to the Treaty of Hudaybiyah that was signed.
Yeah.
Because if we remember that treaty, everything was against the
Great
Prophet.
observation. That's a great
Everything
observation.
was against the Muslims. Yet they signed it. I mean,
Wow, I didn't even think about that. That's a great observation.
the treaty was for 10 years. Muslims have to come back the next year to perform Umrah. Any person that accepted Islam, that ran from Mecca and went to Medina, if the Quraysh demanded, they had to give him back. But similarly, if some Muslim went to Mecca from Medina, and the Muslims had no right to ask for him back. Every way you look at it, it was unjust. And for those of us who know the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, we know that Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu did not want the Prophet ﷺ to sign that. He was one of the companions who strongly opposed to it.
They were perturbed, yeah.
How can we sign such unjust terms? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the verse, Inna fatahna laka fatham mubina, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted you a great victory. And we all know what happened. The treaty that was supposed to last for 10 years ended up being broken by them within just around a year. So we hope and pray that inshallah this treaty agreement that they're signing, the aggressors, the oppressors have already been exposed to the world.
That's true.
And inshallah, hopefully, I think it's not about if they will break the treaty, it's about when, because that's what history tells us.
Yeah.
And we hope and pray that inshallah this time around, it will be different and we're not going to go back to, starting from scratch again.
Yeah.
And I apologize for that.
No. Too much has happened, Sheikh. And I think whatever treaty is... the dam's broken is what it feels like. I don't feel like any treaty is going to solve this. I feel like any ceasefire will be very short. Someone has to come out on top. And, I'm never going to tell the people of Gaza, none of us can tell them what they should or shouldn't endure, what they shouldn't or shouldn't sign. They're the ones who are going through this, right? And what we just hope and pray is that this is something that backfires on the Israelis. Because right now, they have completely lost the world, right? And whatever they agree to, I hope that time frame gives enough wheels for the rest of the support that Israel gets from America, that time frame, in that time, that support falls off,
Oh, and they're trying hard. They're panicking.
Yeah, because
they keep on bringing up Larry Ellison, how much he's contributing to this, and NBC, ABC,
they
buying
literally
out
bought
TikTok, everything.
TikTok, they're buying.
They're panicking.
They're buying CBS. They're in a full press of the public's hearts and minds, and it's just too much has been happened. Like, what are you thinking you're going to undo in the next year or two? Yeah. Like, you're not going to undo anything. People know you can't unsee what you've already saw when it comes to Gaza. What the world has seen, unimaginable horror. You think you can just undo that?
But even collectively, Sim, you know what the crazy thing is? All of them think that, hey, as long as we get business back to as it was, bring it back to usual, people are going to forget, because people always forget. We got used to for like the past 15 years of people having a 7 business day memory of something happening in the news.
Yeah.
Right? And since that happened over and over, they got so used to having so much control of the reins of media. I think they're waiting for that, and it's not coming.
Yeah.
Of the forgetfulness. but they keep on adding because they can't control themselves to all the carnage and the murder and the bloodshed that they're doing, and making these rounds of tours and throwing money at the problem and having like distractions with Charlie Kirk and all this crazy stuff. And it's not going away.
It's their arrogance. That's why, because there's even a smart way, if you're Israel, to have done what they have done.
Yeah.
But and achieve the same result. But they're so careless and reckless and so arrogant.
Because they've gone too far.
How they think they just leveled the whole thing. They've dropped what's equivalent to 3 nuclear bombs.
Yeah.
On Gaza, and they think that that no one would have noticed that everyone would have thought that you're justified in that. Now all this stuff is coming out. All the private discussions that Netanyahu had, where he's bragging about how he controls America, that America is something that can be easily persuaded. And all this stuff is coming out on mainstream television. Everyone's like talking about, like, wait, this guy, that John Oliver, he was talking about on his show. Everyone's like, wait, you're bragging about how much you control our. Now I know there's a lot of problems with Americans and stuff, but Americans don't like that kind of a talk, especially from someone who's received so much help from this country. Yeah, that he's bragging about how much he controls this country, and I think it's just the whole
says
thing.
One thing in English American media, says something else in Hebrew media. Yeah, it's crazy.
The cat is out of the bag now. Yeah. Okay. It's a lot of this cannot be undone, and I think it's important for Muslims to realize that keep the pressure up. This is not the end. True. This is not the solution that we are looking for. We're happy that the killing has stopped. But we should know and understand that this is a Band-Aid that is being put on a wound that is still very much infected. Yeah. We're just stopping the bleeding temporarily. That's what we're doing. Yeah. Okay? We talked about, a lot of this is irreversible. That's why they're panicking. They're buying out all these platforms. They want to influence the public opinion, but people, it cannot be done. It cannot be undone. Even this conversation that we see here in this country on a national level about AIPAC, for example, how many people knew about AIPAC before this? Besides the Muslims, not many people knew about it. But people are asking open questions like, why are our politicians under so much influence by them? How come that they are funding our politicians and all the policies are made because they're getting the funds from them? These are questions, that should have been asked a long time ago, but they were not asked because most people did not know about it. You have people, on major platforms, people who have following in the millions. Like some of you that you guys listen to regularly. I listen to it every now and then. But people like, Tucker Carlson, people like Candace Owen, people like even Matt Gaetz. Of all the people, Matt Gaetz, okay, is talking so openly about all of this. People like
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, out of all the people. People like Dan Bilzerian, out of all the people.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to go back now and say that, it's true. Sorry, I didn't mean that. Sorry, I didn't believe in that. It cannot. It's not going to happen. And just like those people are not going to stop, Muslims should also understand that we cannot stop and we cannot relax and take a break. Because the people in Palestine have not taken a break in the past 2 years. The occupation, not just Gaza. People just talk about Gaza. You must talk about the entire occupied land. Yep. People talk so much about Gaza. One of the persons that talked to me after a khutbah recently, you talked about so much about Gaza. People just talking about Gaza and Gaza. People have forgotten that Masjid al-Aqsa is still under occupation. Yeah. Masjid al-Aqsa is under occupation, still under occupation. Yeah. And in these 20 points, there's no mention of any the status of Masjid al-Aqsa, West Bank, and all of those things. So, and even in this agreement, there's no mention of any of that. So we must realize.
Gives them free reign. Yeah.
And the one more point I want to mention, and you can cut me off if I'm going off.
Keep going.
some of our listeners and some of the people that I talk to every now and then too, say that, you guys get around and sit around and talk about all these global issues. You guys are living in America, what do you know, or what can you do? You're just hypocrites and all this. I'm sure you heard of that. I'm sure you've heard of that. And it's a bunch of BS. I think that's true for someone who just sits around and does not do anything when they have the ability to do something. I am of the opinion that the Muslims in the West, not just America, Muslims in the West have much more freedom and opportunity to influence, and not just influence, but also propagate, to stand up against injustice. No matter, not just in Palestine, anywhere that happened, more than anywhere in the world. In particular, they have more opportunity than anyone would in any parts of the Muslim world. How many, even yes, the Muslim world exists. They have their place, but in the past 2 years, most of the influence came from which part of the world? Not the Muslim world, but the Western world.
Yeah.
It came through what? It came through podcasts, it came through social media, it came through talks, it came through lectures, it came through all of this.
Raising awareness.
Okay,
Yeah.
who's the one who's raising awareness?
Yeah.
Their reach is limited to only that region, but the world is much bigger than that.
Yeah.
So Muslims must realize that, look, the freedom that we have, or that we still have, because we don't know yet, because it's always good to say, you have the freedom to say what you want. It's guaranteed in the Constitution, but it seems every day that could be coming to an end anytime soon.
Especially when it comes to Israel.
Someone had said, not just that, I mean, a lot of things, right? Someone said, you used to have freedom of speech, but now it's a possibility. You must think about it this way, that yes, you used to have freedom of speech, but now you may not have freedom after your speech. Okay? so Muslims must realize and understand the power that they have at their disposal. The khutbahs, that I've given, so many, the talks, yourself, even this podcast, you're not going to be able to do any of this in most of the Muslim world. Mm-mm. Even though the cause is about
because they're directly, if you talk about Gaza and Israel in the Muslim world, you're talking about those leaders directly, because they are the enablers. Just like America's enabler, you have an offensive enabler and you have defensive enablers. The offensive enabler is obviously America. The defensive enablers are the surrounding Muslim countries. Right? So when you talk about this, it's a crazy dichotomy, but if you talk about Israel and the carnage that they're causing to the Palestinians and in the land of Masjid al-Aqsa, they're like, oh, he's talking about us. They directly feel the hit, which is why it's very difficult for them, but still people are doing it. And there's been obviously in Egypt, there was a lot of crackdowns, but from what I heard, there's so many people now talking about it in Egypt that they're not able to crack down. They can't crack down on everybody. And then you have some people from the police force and the army that are just like, yeah, I mean, they have relatives in Palestine too. The Egyptians have relatives in Palestine, and sometimes there's a big group of Palestinians that migrated a few generations ago in Egypt that have become Egyptian, but they still consider themselves Palestinians, right? So that's just a matter of time too. But I'm really itching about talking about Iran, bro, because
I know you are. Talk about Iran. I don't know what's happening.
The airwaves have been talking for the past 3 to 4 months that Israel is trying to pull America into this war with Iran again, and they're hoping that it's going to be actual same type of war that was in Iraq. And obviously America and the American public are not going to be okay with, nobody's going to stand with America for that. And I think that's one of the reasons why I think as of right now, enlistment in the army is all-time low. Is it? Or was it last year? I can't remember. But they're going to have a really hard time mustering up troops now to go and start a war with Iran, right? Because Israel finds Iran as an imminent threat to their expansion. And, the Houthis are doing whatever they're doing, but Iran is saying that they're getting braced and they're getting now armaments from China and Russia and prepping for war. How possible do you think that this goes through? Because there's so much talk, but even Burundi's on all these, like, dude is all over, spokesman for Iran is all over podcasts and news stations, and he's talking a big game right now. Yeah. And nobody knows what's real.
Iran is developing now.
Why are we
ballistic
playing
missiles?
I don't even. I don't.
No. This just came out. Hang on. So the context is that this just came out. A video from him trying to play up the fear of Iran and their ability to launch a nuclear weapon at Israel.
For 8,000 kilometer range. What does that mean? They add another 3,000 kilometers, and they've got under their atomic guns, the New York City in target.
So he's trying to say New York City,
Boston, Miami, Mar-a-Lago. Okay? So that is a very great danger. You don't want to be under the nuclear gun of these people who are not necessarily rational and who chant death to America.
So this is
what a rat, dude.
He's
what a sleazy, despicable rat.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly what he's trying to drum up fear that Iran can launch a nuclear weapon at Mar-a-Lago, at New York, Boston.
It's like that trick is like 20 years old. How is he still using that?
I mean,
you look like an instigator in front of the whole world.
Exactly. Like these guys think that the world is dumb. Like that they didn't see what they've been doing for the past 2 years. And the world is much more wiser to these games.
Which is why I don't think it's going to happen.
They're still gonna. These are like talking points to the Ben Shapiros and the people who are already in the pocket of the Israelis. Yeah, they're gonna use these things as ways, as just talking points that whenever they have debates and stuff about a possible war with Iran, that Iran can launch a new nuclear weapon at the United States and stuff. So I don't know. It makes me wonder whether the United States is trying to appease Netanyahu with a war with Iran. Say, hey, let's just drop the Gaza thing for now, make a deal with them, and we'll give you an Iran war. Maybe that's the side.
But I don't think I think this time they're not going to bite. I don't think they can.
I don't think the American public has the appetite for this.
The public, because of the public and the lack of appetite, like you said. But there's no way America would be so stupid to bite now, because now they just look like he's the maestro and they're just following. That's all it looks like. We're doing this for him, and they wouldn't be able to show if they show their face that if they actually do it. And they're able to show their face if they ever make that decision. There's no way the American public would respect them. Even those people are getting paid off by AIPAC. Like, all right, man, this is something that we can't get behind. But
I mean, I think people saw this video of him just recently talking about this, and they just rolled their eyes. Like, this guy's just so out of touch. Yeah, they're so deluded. This is what we've been talking about for the past few weeks. That they're not thinking right because they've been lying themselves, and they've been believing their own lies, that they're no longer have the ability to understand what the reality is, what real life is like, what's happening, how people perceive them. They have no understanding of it, because that's what happens when you don't know how to operate from truth. You don't know how to distinguish what's real and what's not real. Yeah, right. You've believed in this illusion that because you spent billions and billions of dollars in trying to convince Americans and trying to influence them through media, through Holocaust videos, through stuff like Schindler's List and all these other movies that they've made over decades. They're like, the
History Channel somehow, for some reason, the History Channel is always playing about World War II. That's crazy.
Always. I mean, the World War II, they've literally hijacked the whole narrative of World War II. That's all about the Holocaust. It's like, pretty much all the millions of people who sacrificed their lives from every side, their lives don't matter. It's just that the Holocaust matters, and but people aren't believing this anymore. People like Daryl Cooper, who have been talking about this on Tucker Carlson's show and stuff like that. People have had it. They're on their way out. They're yesterday's news, and all these guys who are sitting on the fence, trying to figure out like the Megyn Kellys of the world, they're just trying to see like, okay, well, is there enough of an escape for me? When is the right time for me to jump out?
That's a good
jump
way of
off the Israel bandwagon. Yep. I really think that's where our guy Charlie Kirk was. He was about to jump off.
Yeah.
And it seems like Candace Owens has these new text messages that have been verified and authenticated that he was about to jump off.
Yeah, 48 hours before in text message he said, I think they're going to kill me.
Yeah.
That's the newest one that she released.
So what makes you think about that is that because Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Charlie Kirk, they are like the trinity of conservative Christian America.
America first.
I don't think anyone is more powerful than them. Can you name a
social media?
Maybe
wise,
Matt Walsh.
Right? No.
Matt Walsh might be right? Somewhere.
Yeah,
but not even near their level of
conservative, popular podcasters that are swaying huge swaths of human beings in America. Nobody compares to them as of right now.
Yeah. So you've already lost 2 out of the 3.
Yeah.
You lost Tucker and Candace. And if you lost Charlie Kirk, you may as well kiss your whole Zionist campaign goodbye. I think that may have been the reason why they killed him.
Yeah.
If that's what
allegedly. Setting a precedent.
Honestly, at first I was just like, Candace was this kind of a stretch, but I never said publicly, but I was just like, it's just because in public Charlie Kirk was a very pro-Zionist, but we didn't see what was happening in the background. But you got some inkling of it, because he was inviting all these people to the TPUSA conferences.
Yeah, they reprimanded him for having Dave Smith.
Yeah,
they reprimanded him. Why are you having somebody on there that's
pushing and then he back? I think he was going to bring Candace on next year.
Yeah,
and so I think they kind of got wind of which direction he was going, and they're starting to close down the faucet. And they're shutting off the money that the Zionists were giving him.
Yeah.
And
he said 48 hours before, I think they're going to kill me. I have a feeling. Yeah.
One point you mentioned here, I just want to touch on that a little bit more. We talked about, a lot of this cannot be undone now. And one thing that's not going to be forgotten is the people who sat on the sidelines.
Oh, yes. That's a great point.
I'm talking about, in particular, the Muslims, whether they were influencers, whether they were leaders, whether they were scholars who still have huge platforms but chose to remain silent or chose to be a fence rider. Some of them, I don't understand what happened. Either they were possessed or what. They were speaking in codes when they had the opportunity to speak openly and talk about what is happening, all because they were afraid to lose their platform. So in my opinion, they chose dunya over akhirah. They chose, when they had the opportunity to do the very least that they can, they chose not to. Even you mentioned before too, this program have no sponsors. Some of the sponsors, they don't want to be, they feel that it's going to impact. That's why you have no sponsors. That's fine. But when we saw what we saw in the past 2 years, and then still people chose to remain mute, the world is not going to forget that.
Yeah. And
Muslims should not forget that. Muslims should understand and realize where the people were when this ongoing massacre was taking place, what position they had taken. And we talked about this girl, what's her name? Greta, right? The interview that she gave. I think Muslim leaders can learn a lot from that, because even while she was speaking, someone from the audience wanted her to talk about what she went through, and she stopped them and said that this is not about me and this is not about us. How many of our people would be willing to do that? They are dying to be in the spotlight. They are. I'm sorry to say that, but many of the scholars, many of the reciters, many of these popular figures don't think that they're angels. They are dying to be in the spotlight, and they're stabbing each other in the back so they can get the spotlight. And there are many examples I can talk to you about that, but I'm not going to mention that. But that is the reality. People don't understand. People don't understand how, that segment of the society operates.
Even the flotilla, the guy, I forget his name, the Spanish guy, I should have his name memorized, who was communicating with Israel on the international waters when they were telling them to back off if you're coming into near the territory of Israel. Remember that dude? We played his phone call or his communication with Israel.
One of the guys you said you've seen him before too. Like,
So Greg Stoker, is that what you're
That may be him. The reason why that hit really hard to a lot of people is because he is having to put, this guy's not a Muslim, right?
Yeah.
The Irish, remember when Habib, like his cousin Usman fought a guy in PFL and he beat him when the guy was Irish, but Habib comes into the cage and he said, you know what, this is just a fight. This is whatever. This is MMA. We're all enthusiasts, but the real appreciation, even though his cousin won the championship or won the belt, the real appreciation goes to you guys. Ireland, your country, like helped our brothers when no one else was helping them, and you guys are speaking up and took like the hit for all of us, right? The reason why these people are doing the flotilla, we have to, why are they doing this? Because the people who are capable of doing much more than a flotilla are not doing it. And we have Greta Thunberg, right? A girl who has nothing to do with Islam, a girl she has some like condition too. I think she has like Asperger's or something, right? She's not even like an intellectual or anything like that, or somebody who's very, she's somebody with special needs too.
Yeah.
Right. And this person is putting everyone to shame. Why does she have to do this? Why are these civilians in Islam? The civilians, yes, they have to feel the ache. They have to, because or else they're not Muslim, right? They're not from amongst the Muslims. But why is this situation of civilians from other countries are gathering and trying to help the people of Palestine? That's a question that we have to ask. And like you said, there's one person, look, I know there's a lot of Muslim influencers, scholars, but one person from the beginning that I have much respect for, and just completely, in my eyes, raised in ranks was Sheikh Omar Suleiman. This guy from the first day, nonstop, has been promoting and has been putting himself, he sacrificed his entire reputation, meaning up to standards of people who are trying to protect the reputation of influencers and all the followers they have, from day one, nonstop, every day, talking about Palestine and Israel. He didn't talk about Israel, right? Because that's what we talked about Mufti Menk about. He talked about do dua for the people of Palestine and stuff like that, but he never talked about the people of Israel who are actually causing the problem.
Yeah.
He just said do dua for those. Why are you asking them? The question is, it's not fair. It's not Amr bil Ma'ruf and Nahy anil Munkar if you're just talking about the people who are oppressed and not talking about the oppressor themselves. What's happening to the people of Palestine? Who's putting them through that? Yeah. You have to talk about that too, right?
Just to be clear, we're talking about Menk.
Yeah, Mufti Menk, yeah. But Sheikh Omar Suleiman, he never shied away from day one.
No,
that's why I have mad respect for him.
It was a lot him and many others.
There are many
too.
others. That's just one person that I know because from the beginning, every day, post after post after post.
I don't want to mention any names, but people who know, they know.
Yeah.
People who have been who follow scholars, they know. And this is something everyone can come to the conclusion. Any scholar that you follow, any popular influencer that you follow, go back and look.
Yeah.
What position did this person take in the past 2 years? And you'll get your answer.
Yeah.
You don't listen to me. I'm not gonna take your word for it. Maybe I don't follow him. Maybe I don't know him.
You're right.
So people can come to this conclusion on their own very easily. The popular scholars, not even popular, the people that you follow, the people that you trust, the people that you're taking your deen from, what have they taught you in the past 2 years when it comes to this issue,
Very true.
and you get your answer.
It's important because I think people need to understand that when you take on this obligation, not this obligation, but the spotlight, you take leadership over Muslims. You have an obligation to fighting for their rights, and you need to be someone who people aspire to be like. If you're showing cowardice at a moment like this, what will you stand up for then? What is there left for you to stand up for? If you can't stand up for something so simple as children dying, or over half of the population of Gaza is children, you can't stand up for children. And non-Muslims are willing to put their money on the line. Miss Rachel is putting on. Guns N' Roses is putting their reputation on the line. All these artists, all these people who have millions and millions of dollars to lose, but none of you can. What does that say about our ummah and the situation where, like, what our priorities are?
It tells you, dude. I'm so glad you brought that up. It tells you, the leader, what their motive actually is. Their motive has actually always been, because the accusation against them has been what? You get all this money and your people are in poverty, right? Remember, like, Sisi built, like, just a bathroom he built for his wife, and one of the houses that he built was like 250,000 American dollars.
Yeah.
Just a bathroom, one bathroom out of many in the palaces that he built for it. Like, and your people are going through, I think the American dollar now is like 60 Janae there. When I was there, it was 6.8 Janae.
What does that mean?
Janae is like, so is their currency.
I mean,
So $1 was 6.8 Janae when I was there in 2012, right? 2011, and then obviously started going up. Now, the people, they can't buy. There's people who haven't eaten meat in months in Egypt, right?
So how much is it now?
$1 is, I think, 50 or 60 Janae.
Whoa.
People are like eating like all types of weird stuff, and like eating like moldy bread. Like, I'm talking about people in like like lower middle class. Wow. Right? That tells you, though, what this person's motive is, that if he can't help the people of Gaza who are right there, I mean, like, real substantial help, not just when it's convenient to say, oh, I'm so sad about what's happening.
Forget about help. Just open up the border.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like literally stopping trucks from going.
And you brag, you have these like parades of having the strongest military in the Middle East. Like, what use is that military? Like he was saying, it's just to use against your own people. It's all posturing against your people so they don't rebel against you, so you can't lose your lifestyle. That's all it is.
All it is.
They don't want to lose their lifestyle.
And who's the biggest supporter of the Egyptian regime? Israel is.
Yes, it is.
Israel supports the Egyptian regime. It supports
Why
the
do they
Jordanian
support
regime.
them? Why do they have to support
the Saudi
them?
regime?
Why do they have to support them? Because they help protect Israel. That's all it is. They're all one team.
They're all one team. And that's
all
what
one team.
We've been trying to get our listeners to understand. And I really hope and pray that you listeners are really internalizing a lot of these conversations that we've had over the past few months around how these so-called leaders of Muslims, and we're talking about the government level, how they're all in league with each other. They're all in the game of making money. They don't care about Palestine. And they're in power because the Israelis and Americans chose them to be in power. The deals that they make and stuff like that, they're all just schemes to make sure that protection money, the money that you give, like, you know, the mobster who comes and wants his
Collection,
due every collection every month. That's literally what's happening in front of your eyes. It's so blatantly obvious. They're forking over $1 trillion in what? No one's even asking questions anymore. It's just so obvious that they're just stealing money in front of the world's eyes. The Gulf nations gave them $1 trillion.
That's insane. $1 trillion.
And then on top of that, they said, that's not enough. We're going to throw an airplane in there for you.
Which is the money of the Ummah. They think it's theirs. That's the other arrogance. Yeah. When Rasulullah told, like, he started off with the Imam of the believers is the Ra'i. He's the shepherd of his people. وَهُوَ مَسْئُولٌ عَنْ رَعِيَّتِهِ, and he's responsible for his flock. Like, think about the hadith, like how important that is. Just talk about the hadith. There's verses that we can talk about too. But when he says, "Kullukum ra'in wa mas'ulun an ra'iyatihi," every single one of you is a shepherd, and he's responsible for his flock. It would be just enough for him to say that you're a shepherd. Every Arab would know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And then he goes through every single person. He talks about the imam. Then he talks about the man of the house.
Yeah.
Or rajulu fi baytihi. And then he talks about the woman in the absence of her husband in the home. Right? And then he talks about the son, or the person who's responsible for his sayyid's money, for the person's money, for his owner's money, or his boss's money, or his employer's money, right? That he's been entrusted with an amana. And at the end of the hadith also again iterates that every single one of you is a shepherd and he's responsible for his flock. Why was he saying that? Why did he start off with the imam first? And why did he reiterate this over? We know in the Sharia, when there's reiteration of something, the more it's reiterated, the more emphasis there is. Number one, because when you're in that position, it's very easy to become oppressive. So don't trust a person who's running for power, who wants to be in power. Never trust that person. Trust the person who was the last to be. Abu Bakr was the most deserving, but he in his heart felt that he was the least deserving to be the Khalifa of Rasulullah. And he literally stands in front of the people and says, "I'm the least deserving in front of you guys to be your leader." This is the type of people that we need, right? This is how you know someone's a true leader. And I think that the whole phase of Ertugrul, people are going to talk about historically whether it's accurate or not, but through that type of art, because that's what it is, and that type of fan it's in the Arabic language. There was a rejuvenation of the Muslim Ummah that we saw, that they were able to see a glimpse of what leadership is actually supposed to be, and what fighting for your people is actually supposed to be, and like going through wars only for the sake of bringing justice to your people. Right? I think that was a huge lesson that the Muslim Ummah, there was this mini sahwa that occurred in the Muslim world. You saw that mini awakening. And every single one of the things happens for a reason. It's all connected to the whole Gaza thing. All of this is connected. Everything is, there's no such thing that a believer thinks that isn't connected. If you see even the actors, people think like the actors are like practicing Muslims. They're not practicing Muslims.
No.
But the production that they came out with, because Allah can bring help from wherever he wants, kind of raised the bar of sentiment of Muslims of like, man, we have this izzah. Like, what the heck happened to us?
Yeah.
You know how many people I met that like became more religious because of Ertugrul?
Yeah, bro.
I was like, what? I didn't want to tell them about the actors because I was afraid something was going to happen. It's like, oh, I already know. It doesn't matter. But the production, it made me realize, it clarified for me some verses of the Quran and like justice. And when you see things like that, and that's why when Sheikh Omar Haqqani was saying that what you're doing, keep doing it. If you're in the arts and you're really good at production, bring up productions about Gaza and use that as a reminder, because you can. How many people do you know that are shuyukh that talked about people over and over about Palestine in these 2 years?
Yeah.
People of Gaza, they changed the landscape of the entire world. When scholarship has been trying to change the entire world and activism since 1924, they've been trying to change it forever. And 2 years of what happened in Gaza changed the world like radically, forever, and made extremists out of non-Muslims. They still remain non-Muslim, but they're extremists for the cause.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're even involved in arts, man, use that to the best. And many people have, but don't think, oh, I can't do anything for Gaza and Islam. Of course you can.
Yeah.
Of course you can.
Think about it. The Egyptians receive money. They don't give money.
This is so
because
sad
they're
to hear.
so pathetic.
I know. It's
their
so
economy
sad
is so bad. They're on the recipient, almost not the same in terms of arms and stuff with Israel, but they receive billions of dollars in aid, and all just to keep the regime in power, keep their mechanism in place.
Yeah.
To keep a stranglehold on their people.
And people always want to know, what does it mean by puppets? This is what it means by puppets in action, practically.
Yeah.
Is somebody has to be there to protect the borders that America wants the borders to be protected for Israel. Right?
But alhamdulillah, our brothers, we were in debt to our family in Gaza. They sacrificed everything for the world to wake up and see what's happening.
Yeah, and they're still fighting the entire world. It's them against the entire world.
Yeah.
It's Palestine against the entire world, and they're still putting up a fight.
Yeah.
They've changed the world.
Without a doubt. Well, that's our show for this evening. Thank you all for listening. Please be sure to throw a comment in the comment section below with your thoughts with today's show. And make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. See you all next time. Assalamu alaikum.
So like,
I want their leader brought here. I want him brought to me. I want the revolution crushed.